Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. It is that time of evening again when we talk about Lincoln Memorial University athletics, and we've got a lot to talk about this week. Some good, some bad. The LMU men's and women's soccer teams make their exit from the 2014 season. But it didn't go down without a fight. We'll talk about that coming up this evening. And we'll talk about the Lady Railsplitter volleyball team. Jenny Michael and company coming back to the friendly confines of the Mary E. Mars Gymnasium to close out regular season play. That'll be Friday evening and Saturday of this week. And, of course, they'll be trying to vie for a better position in the upcoming SAC tournament. LMU men's and women's basketball getting ready to get started. Hard to believe the basketball season's already here, folks, but the men get started on Friday of next week, and that'll be at home in a classic or tournament, if you will. And then the Lady Railsplitters on the road over in Jefferson City over there in that kind of crossover tournament as well. We'll talk about that and more coming up tonight here on the Railsplitter Athletics Report. Stay with us.
We have a big problem, and we need your help.
It's happening on college campuses, at bars, at parties, even in high schools.
It's happening to our sisters and our daughters,
our wives and our friends.
It's called sexual assault, and it has to stop.
We have to stop it. So listen up.
If she doesn't consent, or if she can't consent, it's rape, it's assault.
It's a crime. It's wrong.
If I saw it happening, I was taught you have to do something about it.
If I saw it happening, I speak up.
If I saw it happening, I'd never blame her. I'd help her.
Because I don't want to be a part of the problem.
I want to be a part of the solution.
We need all of you to be part of the solution. This is about respect. It's about responsibility.
It's up to all of us to put an end to sexual assault. And that starts with you.
Because one is too many.
Heart disease affects 1 in every 3 women in America, but you can fight back. There's no time to lose. Mothers, sisters, daughters, families, and friends, it's time to shout louder, stand stronger, and demand change.
Let's go!
To the Batmobile. Dang it.
To the invisible jet.
Dang it. Together, we can put an end to heart disease. It's time to go red for women.
I could use your help.
Yeah!
Learn more from the American Heart Association at www.goredforwomen.org.
If you love your car or truck, let us help you keep it clean at Soapy J. Soapy J's has unlimited wash plans to fit every budget. Try our $5 express wash or one of our 3 monthly wash plans. The Wheel Deal, the Soapy J, or the new Blast Wax. With our monthly wash plans, if you pay with credit card, all you do is pay for the present month and your card will be billed on the 1st of each month. Don't forget, Soapy J's has free vacuums with any wash. Soapy J's Express Car Wash, open 7 days a week. Let us help keep your car or truck clean at Soapy J. Soapy J's on the Cumberland Gap Parkway, Middlesboro.
And welcome back to tonight's show. You know, the Lincoln Memorial University volleyball team hit the road last weekend and headed for Wingate, North Carolina to take on number 7 nationally ranked and conference undefeated Bulldogs of Wingate University in their final week of regular season play. The last time the Lady Railsplitters and Bulldogs met in volleyball was way back on October 3rd in LMU's Mary E. Mars Gymnasium when the Lady Railsplitters opened with a sound 25-13 thrashing of Wingate in the opening set before falling in 4 and suffering their 3rd loss in the past 4 matches. Since that time, the Lady Railsplitters had endured their struggles while the Bulldogs were undefeated in league play and entered Friday evening's match boasting a 24-1 overall record and a 17-1 conference mark. Last Friday evening, both of those win columns would extend as the Lady Railsplitters rolled into Cuddy Arena and were sent out the door quickly as they lost in 3 sets, 25-17, 25-19, and 25-19, to fall to 15-11 overall and 11-7 in South Atlantic Conference play. On Saturday, the Lady Railsplitters traveled south to Hartsville, South Carolina, and their final regular season date with the Cobras looking to get back on the winning track. Now, everyone knows that it's not a good idea to enter a snake's den, but for Jenny Michael and her team, the road match with the Cobras was just part of the deal and considered just another match during the regular season. If that were the mentality, the Lady Railsplitter women didn't know it. Although the victory didn't come easy, the LMU women captured their 2nd win of the season over Coker by handing them a 3-0 setback and winning 26-24, 25-19, and 25-23 to split the weekend's road series before coming back to East Tennessee to square off against arch-rival Carson-Newman University in Holt Fieldhouse over in Jefferson City Tuesday evening. The last time both teams took the floor, both LMU and Carson-Newman were victorious. For the Lady Railsplitters, their late season win over Coker kept them within striking distance of one of the top 4 spots by the end of the conference regular season race. But the 6th place, they are currently in 6th place in the league standings entering Tuesday night's matchup with the Eagles, while Carson Newman had been able to capture lightning in a bottle in their last outings by traveling to Wingate, North Carolina, and doing the impossible and knocking off the Bulldogs on their home floor to snap a 55-match home win streak that spans nearly 5 decades. In Tuesday's meeting with the Eagles over in Jefferson City, the Lady Railsplitters entered the match with the intent of shooting down the high-flying Eagles on the heels of their recent road win over the now number 10 nationally ranked Wingate University. Those thoughts were clouded somewhat in the opening 2 sets at Carson Newman's women came out and cruised to a 25-15 and 25-18 victory in the opening 2 sets before narrowly closing out the Lady Railsplitters in straight sets, 28-26 in the final stanza. Now 16-12 overall and 12-8 in league play. This Friday and Saturday, the LMU women close out the regular season when they play their final 2 scheduled matches at home against Newberry College and Anderson University. The LMU women will enter the weekend in 6th place of the conference standings and will be trying to improve their position with the SAC tournament only a week away. Friday evening's match is slated for a 7 o'clock start with the Wolves, while Saturday's season finale against the Trojans will get underway at 2 p.m. And incidentally, that will also be senior day for the Lady Railsplitters, so do come on out and show your support for those LMU seniors. Turning over to soccer, LMU's head coach Helio Dana and his soccer teams also departed Friday for Wingate, North Carolina in preparation for their scheduled Saturday matchup with the Bulldogs. Dana and his teams couldn't have departed Harrogate at a better time because Mother Nature and Old Man Winter got together and produced the season's first snowfall and only dusted the tri-state area but pounded the Smoky Mountains and dropped as much as 22 inches on Mount LeConte in the Gatlinburg area. As a result, I-40 was a mess, and LMU's trek to Wingate, North Carolina was ahead of all that inclement weather, but was hampered by large amounts of rainfall Saturday, and that forced postponement of the matches into Sunday with the Bulldogs. So, in Sunday's matches, or at least the first one, Wingate went on the offensive early against the Lady Railsplitters. The Bulldogs' Taylor Label took a lead pass from the left side from teammate Naomi Matley and placed a shot in frame and beat LMU keeper Kayla Stevens to give Wingate a 1-0 lead in the 14th minute. Both LMU and Wingate battled through a defensive struggle until the 56th minute when the Bulldogs struck again. This time, Matley hit teammate Jade Montgomery with a cross, and she drove it into the right corner to push the Wingate lead to 2-0. With time working against them and down 2 goals, LMU's offense tried to press but opened up opportunities for the Bulldogs. And in the 75th minute, Wingate again put the icing on the cake when Montgomery found her mark with help from teammate Brooke Howell to give the Bulldogs a 3-0 lead and their eventual margin of victory. The loss drops the Lady Railsplitters to 9-4-2 overall and 7-2-2 in league play as it put them at the number 4 position entering Tuesday's quarterfinal round of the 2014 SAC tournament against number 5 seed Catawba. That match taking place at home at the LMU Soccer Complex. Well, the last time LMU's women and Catawba squared off in Salisbury, North Carolina on October 25th, the Lady Railsplitters scored first, but the Indians scored in the second half, and the two eventually played throughout regulation and to overtime, through 2 overtime periods to a 1-1 tie. Such was the case Tuesday afternoon at the LMU Soccer Complex, only this time it was the Indians that scored first with Catawba's Kate Wissner, who entered the match and scored only minutes later when she intercepted a deflected cross and found the net with the keeper out, rather. The Indians held the lead until Lincoln Memorial's Fernanda Miasi scored in the 89th minute on a direct kick that was blasted past the keeper's left side from 20 yards out to tie the match and ultimately send it to overtime. As was the case in Salisbury in October, LMU and Catawba again played throughout both periods, unable to break the stalemate. But this time, due to being tournament play, the match was sent to a PK shootout. Catawba got the opening shot and banged it in to take a 1-0 lead. LMU matched the Indians' opening kick, and the two went neck and neck until the Indians took a 5-4 lead, entering the Lady Railsplitters' final shot. That's when LMU scorer Fernanda Miachi stepped in with an attempt to tie the match once again, but Miachi got the signal from the referee, made her run on the ball, and as luck would have it, struck it right at the Catawba keeper, Bethany Davis, who made the save to help the Indians advance to this weekend's semifinals in Rock Hill, South Carolina. While the PK shootout helps Catawba advance in SAC tournament play, it goes in the record book as a tie and will end the Lady Railsplitters season at 9-4-3 overall while finishing at 7-2-2 in league play. Unlucky break for Helly O'Dana and his women's program. The Lincoln Memorial men also traveled to Wingate over the weekend and played the afternoon match against the Bulldogs. The Railsplitters were fighting for an outside possibility of hosting a SAC tournament quarterfinal round match. But the Wingate men opened the match with a stingy defense, and it would be evident that that possibility was highly unlikely. Both LMU and Wingate battled throughout the first half and through the first few minutes of the second, with neither team able to put a shot on frame. Finally, in the 51st minute, the Bulldogs tallied a goal to take a 1-0 lead when Axel Jewell scored off of the left side with help from teammate Sean Gadsby. Less than 3 minutes later, Jewell struck again on a header, this time with help from both teammates James Scott and Damian Goanna to put the Bulldogs up 2-0. At that point, Helly O'Dana opened up his team's play and pulled out all the stops in an effort to generate a goal, which also spread them thin defensively. And in the 60th minute, Wingate's Charlie Matchell sealed the Railsplitters' fate when he scored on a pass from teammate Rodrigo Ugalde on a shot from the top of the box that was over LMU keeper Marcel Barvanit's outstretched arms. The Railsplitters were held scoreless throughout the remainder of the match and lost for the second time in their past 3 matches to end their regular season play at 7-5-3 overall and 4-4-3 in league action, which dropped them to the number 7 spot in Tuesday's 2014 SAC tournament quarterfinal round, in which they also later learned that they would face off against number 2 seed Mars Hill College in Mars Hill, North Carolina. So after pacing the sidelines in Tuesday's women's quarterfinal round match against Catawba, Dana jumped in his car and drove 2.5 hours immediately following to Mars Hill to be with the men's program in their quarterfinal round with the Lions of Mars Hill College. His arrival and presence may have helped his team feel as though the match would go as business as usual, but the Lions of Mars Hill paid no mind to Dana's presence and scored what was eventually the game-winning goal in only the 35th minute when Amini Murjit hit a shot from 15 yards out off the left side with help from teammate Alex Mullen. The strike was enough to overtake the Railsplitters in regulation and will end LMU's men's soccer season at 7-6-3 overall, only 1 match into postseason play. Just not a good finish for the LMU soccer teams, but nonetheless successful years for both programs. All right, turning over to cross country. This Saturday, Jeremy Donahue and his Lincoln Memorial University men's and women's teams travel to Salisbury, North Carolina for the 2014 SAC Championships. They're going to be hosted this year by Catawba College. The event gets underway at 9 a.m. in Salisbury, and according to Donahue, both of his teams have been training hard over the past couple of weeks in preparation for this event.
3 weeks is the longest we've gone in the last few years between our last race and conference weekend, but I think it's going to play out well for us. We've been able to get everybody healthy. We've been able to address some issues that we've seen and shore up some things that we needed to work on, and training's gone well over the last 3 weeks. So I think it's going to benefit us this year having that extra time as we head in here this Saturday.
Now, win or lose, this weekend's SAC Championship will not be the final outing for the LMU cross-country teams. Both will also have the opportunity to run in the NCAA Southeast Region meet that will be held Saturday, November 22nd in Montevallo, Alabama. The top teams in that event will go on to represent the region in the NCAA Division II National Championship race later on this year. All right. When we return, we're going to be talking with LMU head women's basketball coach Crystal Evans about the Lady Railsplitters' first few weeks of practice, about their 2014-15 season opener set for November 15th, I think that is, in Jefferson City against Lee's McRae, and what she expects in her first season at the helm of the LMU women's basketball program. It's all coming up next right here after this break on the Railsplitter Athletics Report. Stay with us.
You make me wear my bike helmet. You taught me never to run with scissors.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
And to follow the swimming rules.
You're always looking out for me and trying to keep me safe.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
Here in the garage.
Closet? shoebox under the bed.
Where anyone can get to it. How safe is that?
How safe is that?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. If you own a firearm and are not using it, please be responsible and be sure that it's stored in a safe place. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org.
You can be a hero by being prepared for an emergency. First, make a plan. Call a family meeting to plan for things like how to connect with loved ones after an emergency.
There.
Or your escape route.
I am not fast.
Build a kit. When disaster strikes, it's important to have enough supplies to last 3 days. And don't forget the batteries.
Low battery.
Number 3, know the facts. From blackouts to floods, no matter the emergency, the more you know about it, the better you can deal with it.
You're gonna need some upgrades.
Number 4, get involved. Lend a hand in your community to help others know their role in an emergency.
You guys, do you feel this? We're gonna be heroes!
You can be a hero by being prepared.
Yes!
Visit ready.gov/kids for more preparedness tips.
And we're back in studio, and I'm joined now by LMU head women's basketball coach Crystal Evans. And I want to note that before we went to break, I alluded to the fact that they would be opening the season against Lees McRae. That, in fact, is going to be Lander. There was a change made later on. I don't know if that was a mistake on my part or not, but nonetheless, you'll be playing Lander. First, Coach, welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you with us. All right, you know, I said a little while ago that it's hard to believe it's already basketball season. I know that you were very eager the last time we talked to you to get involved with the preseason practice schedule. That officially began, I think, where you had no limitations other than maybe one day off a week back in mid-October. Mm-hmm. Since that time, you've had an opportunity, and we can't really talk about the teams that we've scrimmaged, but we've had an opportunity to look at our team both on the practice floor and against outside competition. What have we seen so far that you like?
Well, we've had 2 scrimmages, and in our first scrimmage, as anyone would expect, we came out jittery, and there were a lot of nerves, but there was a lot of positives. It exposed a lot of our weaknesses, which is great because we had opportunity to work on them. And then when we had our second scrimmage, a week following that, we looked a lot better. I think the composure was definitely noticeable, and it was a big improvement. There was also a lot of progress. We worked on some of the things that we had fallen short in the first scrimmage that whole week, and it definitely showed in the second scrimmage, and I was very pleased. There was a lot of positives.
It's been my experience over the years that when I talk with coaches, especially this time of year, before their seasons get underway, they're always very pessimistic. They're never happy with the end result of what they've been getting. But that said, I mean, you know, you have had the opportunity to look at your team, and you seem very optimistic about what you've seen. I'm certain that they haven't built that 100% level of chemistry that you'd like to see them yet.
Right,
They've
right.
got good chemistry. But in reality, you've got a lot of new players that are there that have to learn their teammates' tendencies. The old players have to learn the new players' tendencies. The newcomers, the freshmen and so forth, have to learn the college style of play, the speed of the game, et cetera. But I know that if they go out on the floor in the opener against Lander on Saturday the 15th and they're not prepared, it won't be because the coaching staff hasn't done their part. But I know you all work diligently every day.
We try to. We really do. And as far as being optimistic, it's hard not to be optimistic when your team is just working as hard as they are. I've got a good group of girls, and they work hard every day, and it's a pleasure to coach them. And for this being, you know, my first head coaching job, I could not be more pleased. We are progressing. You know, obviously, just like you said, you know, you do want them to gel more together as the season goes on, but it's coming, and each and every day, and I've seen just a world of improvement. And also, you're talking about the teammates learning each other. You know, I've had to learn them myself, so it's been a huge learning process for everyone, and it's been a joy. It really has.
I'll apologize to the viewers of tonight's show for that camera footage. I shot that, and it looks a little shaky, but Coach, in talking about your team this year, I mean, this is a team that many around the athletics department that have watched Lincoln Memorial University women's basketball over the last decade or so feel that this could potentially be the most talented and possibly the deepest team that we've had here in a long time.
Well,
not to put that 800-pound gorilla on your back or anything like that.
Well, I do think our team's very talented. I wouldn't make any bones about that. We've got a very talented group. We do have a lot of depth. But I think it comes from the girls and their work ethic. I mean, these girls come and they work hard every single day at practice. And you can't help a team but to get better when you have that type of focus.
Let's go to the opposite side of the coin for a minute. We've talked about some of the things you like, some of the things they've done well. What are some of the things specifically that you see at this point with your first game, a little more than a week away, that they've drastically got to work on before we can be successful in that area?
Well, we're not running the floor as well as I'd like. We have a tendency to jog back on defense and even jog on offense. We're not pushing the ball as well as I like. And then there's times where when we actually do pick up the speed, that we continue that speed throughout the entire play. So that play is going by so fast that we're not being patient and getting the ball inside like we need to. But those are, to be very honest, those are things we've worked on this past week, and there's been a lot of improvement. We're just not where I'd like to be, but I feel we're going to get there before next Saturday.
What's your gut feeling right now in terms of this team that will be its biggest strength coming up this season?
Well, like I said, the work ethic is definitely going to be the strength. However, I've got some seniors that have some great leadership qualities, and they're learning each and every day how to be a leader, and that's getting better and better and better. But anytime you have a team that has great leadership, you can pretty much put this team on their back, and they'll carry you through.
The thing that I see, and I haven't really seen a whole lot of practice yet, I have been there a couple of opportunities to watch your team work out. This is, in the post, probably one of the bigger teams we've had in recent years. They are very mobile from a inside player standpoint. So there's depth there as well. Yes. But I think the biggest depth probably comes out on the perimeter. I mean, you've got a lot of guards, you've got a lot of bodies that can run at you. They're not all, if they're inexperienced, they're very athletic, they're very quick on their first step and their handles. But at the same time, if they do have experience, in a lot of cases they have that on-floor mentality that knows what to do in the right situation.
They do. We are actually very deep in the guard area, and that's just a huge asset, because the type of style play that I want to incorporate into this season is I want to really get after it defensively, and I want to get up and down the court offensively, and to play at that tempo. You're not going to have players that are going to be able to play 35 minutes a game. You're going to have that depth in the guards so you can have fresh legs coming in and out of the game.
And looking at this footage right here as well, folks, I want to remind you that on this particular day, I think Asia Roan wasn't in practice. She was on the exercise bike possibly, but she's back in the lineup now, and she's working out with the team. So a lot of depth, a lot of talent on this team. And, Coach, in reality, you've got about 7 maybe days to prepare for that opener. That's against Lander. It's a Peachbelt team. They're fully funded with the maximum amount of scholarships the NCAA Division II allows. They also get Pell Grants. So, not to make any excuses, but you're kind of facing somebody that's not necessarily on an even plane. Nonetheless, you have to lace them up, go out there and play for 40 minutes and maybe then some and get the job done.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for the challenge. And I don't really focus on any other team. I'm focusing on what we're doing, and I feel like we've got great chances, and I'm really looking forward to the game.
I know you were pretty high on your staff when we talked to you last, and obviously now they've had a chance to kind of settle in and get acclimated to what they can bring to the table for this program. How's that worked out?
They're great. I couldn't be more pleased. Brooke knows exactly what to teach with the guards. She's excellent. She's great with her X's and O's, and there's a comfort there because we've worked together before. Chandler, you think, with her being a GA and being young, that she would be a little hesitant, and actually that's not been the case. She has been very forward and bold with her comments, and they've been right on. She's really been working with the post players, and she's done an excellent job.
Well, folks, I want to remind you that we will be starting the Crystal Evans Show beginning Monday night. That'll be at 8 o'clock on WLMU 91.3 FM. We certainly hope that you'll join us. We'll be talking with Coach Evans about the upcoming season, about their upcoming games. Coach, good luck. We look forward to talking with you. All right. We'll take a break. We'll be back on the Railsplitter Athletics Report.
Citizens Bank, we're different from everyone else. We've proudly served business communities of Northeast Tennessee since 1912 and have security you can count on. We offer the convenience of internet banking, excellent loan services on various types of loans, cash management, and small business banking at all of our convenient locations in Harrogate, Tazewell, New Tazewell, Bean Station, and Morristown. Visit our website to find out more at citizensbanktn.com. Citizens Bank, no more banking as usual.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Maybe he's really focused.
Hey, Michael. Michael. Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Commercial to residential, from the basement to the attic, Knoxville Drywall can deliver full-service drywall, insulation, and paint contracting. Knoxville Drywall specializes in new and tenant build-outs, drywall repair, drywall grids, metal stud framing, acoustical ceilings, suspended drywall ceilings, and ceiling and wall texturing and painting. Knoxville Drywall also provides wall-blown insulation for existing walls, attic-blown insulation, wall and ceiling batts insulation, and crawlspace insulation. Knoxville Drywall Incorporated, serving Knoxville and the surrounding area for more than 56 years with outstanding quality and competitive pricing.
Whether institutional case good or architectural woodwork, Nolan Products Incorporated of Knoxville has been serving East Tennessee, Southwest Virginia, and Southeast Kentucky since 1958. From concept to finish, Nolan Products custom builds to the highest quality standards to meet your facility specifications while using only the finest materials available. Nolan Products has been serving and meeting the needs and requirements of general contractors and architects in East Tennessee and surrounding area for more than 55 years. Nolan Products Incorporated, 912 Forsyth Street Northeast, Knoxville.
And welcome back. Again, thanks to my guest tonight, Crystal Evans, head coach of the Lady Railsplitters. And again, they will open the season on Saturday. That'll be November the 15th in Jefferson City. It's a neutral site floor. It's a crossover between the Peach Belt Conference and SAC. And they'll play Lander in the opening game. And then on Sunday, of course, they'll be in their second outing of the year, both of which take place in Jefferson City. And we want to wish them the best of luck. We'll be with them on that Saturday to broadcast radio, but on Friday we'll be at home for the Railsplitters opener here in that classic. And incidentally, we have steak night on that Friday night, November the 14th. There you see it. Steak being provided by the Shiloh Roadhouse up in London, Kentucky, and it's basically a donation to the LMU Athletics Department. A $25 ticket. You get all the trimmings with that steak as well as dessert and your drink. And come on out and support. You can contact Dan Burns for more information, and definitely an RSVP is needed there. That's 869-6242-423 if you're calling outside the area code. And folks, we want to remind you, coming up here in the next couple of weeks, Dan Burns is going to be on the road with me as we'll have LMU and fan pregame tailgate gatherings on Friday evening, November the 21st over in Charlotte. That'll take place at the Buffalo Wild Wings on East Martin Luther King Boulevard. And then in Anderson, South Carolina at Carson Steakhouse the 24th. That's all the time we have for tonight. Until next week, good night, everybody.